Hi, everybody. Are you feeling stuck? So, I just had a very catalyzing conversation. You have certain friends that I call it the Star Trek effect. Some phenomenon is going on, and everybody thinks it's an isolated thing, and they attribute it to indigestion or whatever. And then they finally start talking to each other and they begin to get a handle on this thing that's going on. And because we have this community, and people just have their amazing takes on, they're tapped into the astrology or this or that, and we can more quickly kind of get a handle on what's going on, and we can stop with the negative attributions and realize, oh, it's just Venus and Mercury in retrograde. Is that just kicking your ass? So retrograde times bring up our issues for healing, and you're going to hear a lot of phrases like that that are just, we've heard them before and we're getting really tired of it. Because it's like, oh my God. But that's what we came here for, to clear genetic lines, to clear our own past lives, to lift this planet, to infiltrate it from the inside, to lift it out of, slavery and all the old programs. And so with all of the solar activity, a lot of things have been coming to the surface for us to clear. So I know you probably already know that, but I just wanted to say, okay, so I work with this deck a lot, and like when I'm trying to figure out what's going on with me and what should I do next. Of course, I'm not finding the card right now, but it's the picture of an elephant stuck in the mud. And not only was I getting this card for like 2 months straight, or 3 or 5, going back into last year, always wanting to turn the corner, to get into the next thing, to develop my business or to manifest something. And just feeling like, I'm seeing a little progress here and there, but it's like, why can't I just start moving forward? And I kept getting this card, and not only would I get the stuck in the mud card, but I would get the stuck card reversed, which meant I was resisting where I was stuck. Soul Knowledge says, yes, feeling super stuck, have 9 of clubs today and Uranus trine Mercury for your transit today. Wow, I don't know that daily stuff. I don't track the daily stuff quite as much because I have my head in like, what's going on. But 9 of clubs, 9s can feel kind of vague. And it's an open at the top kind of energy. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I think we really unlocked something today. So the old programs that we're carrying that are just not working. 9 of clubs can indicate the end of an old program, the end of an old, framework of consciousness. And one thing that was happening to me is that all of a sudden the money was drying up. And I haven't had that happen to me for years, decades, in fact, to the point where I was like, oh my God, okay, you've got to come through here. Because I wasn't doing anything different. It was just like, all of a sudden there it was. And I had this unexplained pain in my right arm. Now, I was a paint contractor for close to 30 years. I stopped painting because I was getting really bad tendonitis. Well, I haven't painted for like the last 2 years, like not really significantly. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this starts hurting really bad. Well, I've been doing this regression work, doing this ongoing trade with somebody. And it has just provided the most amazing answers, because she was also feeling really tired and really stuck, and we're not trusting our intuition and blah, blah, blah. And so when I got to this galactic field of information, it was like a galactic Akash, this golden pillar of light. We asked, why are we so tired? And what they said is that you're shedding old programs. The solar activity has increased. We talk about the solar flash. Well, it's been happening, and it's intensifying. And of course, the Schumann resonance it can't be measured anymore. It's just a total whiteout. The screen is just whited out because the solar activity is so intense. And so here on planet Earth, in this density, what it's pulling out are these old programs that have been so familiar, and giving us a sense of identity, a sense of, this is what I'm working through. And people have been getting these huge, it either comes in the form of a crisis, or this big message that says it's time to let this go. Like really difficult things, like you're being disinherited, or you have this huge traumatic memory that you can't just quite work your way through, but you're hanging on to it. And for me, what I was holding on to was an old work program. So I said, "What's up with my arm?" And they said, "You're releasing an old work program." What is work? What does work on this planet mean? How many of us have jobs that we don't like? But if you know, it's like a, I don't know, it's not blackmail, but it's like they've got you over a barrel and you're like, "Yeah, I got to keep doing this so I can pay my rent, so I can pay my bills, da 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 da," and you feel stuck in this old program. And the releasing of this program through my arm, they said, if you had been like a person who lays flooring for a living, this program would be releasing through your knees, depending on where you're holding that work program. Maybe it's you're hunched over a computer and you just have terrible shoulder pain. Well, a lot of incredible information is coming through right now. I had a massage and saw 4 lifetimes during the massage. And this woman that was working on me, this dear friend, we're getting upgrades in our abilities and remembering and old abilities coming online. It's like I'm in touch with the Akash. I'm talking to, dead authors and getting the most amazing information. And um, she was able to take me into this place where I saw past lives that were directly affecting my body. And one of the programs, I got a huge whack on my trapezius muscle, and I saw it and it went away, and it hasn't been back. It was totally released. And then this friend that I met with today had a very similar experience. She had chronic hip pain, and she took a mushroom journey and got in touch with it, and it's gone, just completely gone. So, there's the upside too. What have you been able to let go of? I've been in this vinyasa yoga class, and at the beginning, he always asked the question, what can you let go of right now? Take a deep breath as you're letting it go. What can you let go of right now? And I think that's the microcosm of the macrocosm. The whole planet through our bodies is letting go of old programs. So the survival programs, what do you have to be? What do you have to do? What do you have to do? How do you have to perform? How do you have to appear? All these programs that make us feel like, as long as I do this, I'm going to be okay. And it's old childhood stuff, it's lineage stuff, God knows where it's coming from, a lot of different places, but we're really being called to let it go. So the message I wanted to give about being stuck, feeling stuck, I finally got it, because there's this other card, which I probably won't be able to find going through it, but it's the Protecting Treasure card, and it shows a woman. I should have found these before I came in to do this. Oh, this is another one that I kept getting. Deep freeze. Don't start any new projects right now. It's like, oh, I just kept getting them over and over again. But there's this one card where there's this woman laying on top of a treasure box, and the guy has an umbrella, and it's raining, and she's in there. And the message that I was getting alongside this being stuck is that there is a treasure in your stuckness. And as long as you're resisting it and hating it and getting really frustrated, you're not really listening to, why am I being stuck? What is the treasure inside the stuckness that my guides want me to get? So this whole video is to encourage you to trust yourself, trust your higher self, trust where you find yourself. I have a little sticker that I have in my car, put it on my rear view mirror, and I wrote on it, what if where you are right now is perfect? Can I accept the place that I am at right now as absolutely perfect? And when this famous dead author came through to me recently, he died in December, and he came through to me. And the very first thing he did was he just encompassed me with love, just this higher dimensional love. And I was like, okay, I can trust this. And the next message is, you're not doing it wrong. So when we find ourselves in places of being stuck, or a crisis appears, we're all having Pluto experiences, because the death and rebirth is happening now. In fact, today is a very, very important day, according to a lot of people out there who are like, we're leaving the Kali Yuga and entering the next Yuga, which is actually the Dwarpa Yuga today, and who knows. But it certainly feels like this is the transition year. 2025 is the big year to make huge, gigantic shifts. And we can see them on, the big grand stage, but we're also seeing them in our lives. The microcosm of being frustrated and feeling stuck is that the universe is trying to get you to let go of old programs. And it's scary because it's disorienting. We have our identity wrapped up in it. Who would I be without this? And it is exactly like that scene in the movie Contact, where she gets in the sphere and they're like, well, we're going to attach a safety seat with seat belts and everything because we don't know what this thing is going to do, this higher dimensional vehicle, and this is going to keep you safe. And she's in there and the vibration starts and it becomes so erratic. It's like the turbulence created by clinging to the old program is fear. And then finally, what does she do? She unbuckles herself, floats free, and there is zero turbulence. Make the leap, decide to trust, and just say, show me. And then that metal wall becomes transparent and you can see. And we're getting more and more access to higher dimensional knowledge and wisdom. So if you're feeling stuck, ask for clarity and be willing to let go of something. What is it that you can let go of right now? So I am going to throw cards for whoever sees this video. What if it's the stuck card? No, it isn't. It's balancing act. So this is for you if you're watching this video, card number 11, and pay attention to the details. You can even take a screenshot of that, and sometimes the details offer more granular information for you individually. Notice what you notice. Go where the attention and energy goes. You are calm within, no matter the fluctuations of outer conditions. There are times when things seem a bit topsy-turvy and it feels as if you're juggling 1,000 balls in the air. Perhaps you're unsure of your footing. Now is the moment to evaluate which areas of your life need balance and then restore equilibrium. Choose harmony over discord, and great success will be yours. You'll find inner stability when you choose a balanced, focused, and level path. And reversed, in case it's reversed for you, this is a time when it's important to address the areas of your life where there is discord. Are you fixated on getting your own way? And I kept getting this card too because I was like, oh, if I just get, if my dream job would just manifest, or if this money would just drop in my lap and then I could get a new car, or being fixated on what you think the solution is. Are you fixated on something? Are you neglecting essential matters that require your attention? So I think for certain personality types, we go into magical thinking. And, oh, if I just start this new thing, or da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, have a realistic taking stock. And what I said to my friend, what I think you're going through is a deconstruction. Because she's like, I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. And the truth is, she's a deeply caring person. But I said, what is that nihilism an antidote for? And it seems like a hopeless kind of dead end sort of feeling that you end up with. It may be the antidote to, like, what's the reverse behavior in extremis that you're trying to shake yourself loose of. Like if you're really angry and you're like, I'm typically not an angry person, pay attention to that. What are you really angry at? What's the opposite of that? Maybe acquiescing, denial that there's injustice or that something feels unfair in your life. What is the negative energy go-to that you're feeling, that you're resisting it because you're like, this just isn't me. There may be medicine in it. So let me finish this balance card. Taking your own inventory is a necessary step toward rebalancing your life, and it's the only way to reach an equitable solution. Adjust yourself to the conditions of your environment that you have no control over, And balance will come much more easily. If there is to be fairness, it must come from you. So there are things we're in control of and things that we aren't in control of. And that's the serenity prayer, isn't it? Okay, one more card. I'm going to shuffle once more and draw one more card because I'm just feeling like that's important. And please do share this video if this is resonating with you and you think someone else might need to hear this. Do share. Oh, this is kind of a difficult card, but sad embrace. This means you just need to stop and go inside. And by the way, the 45th card in the deck is the Six of Spades, which is kind of in the out of your realm of control because you decided on it before you came here. So it's like, you're not going to get out of this one. We can call it karma. We can call it a plan, a life purpose, a mission, whatever. But there you are in your situation. There are things you can't control. And maybe you just need to sit down and feel sadness. Okay, so let's read card number 45. Then I'm going to hop on over to Instagram and then TikTok. I'll do my things over there too. Okay, sad embrace. Loss is a part of life. Let go and allow time to heal you. That's the message. Perhaps you have to let go of a long cherished dream. Maybe it's a relationship, whatever the ending is for your highest good. A better and more powerful dream will be realized in your life. So when the deck clears of the old programs, that's when we can allow in what our spirits and our higher selves are trying to get us ready for. So let go. What is it that you can let go of? Go with the sadness and the grief and the fear of where am I without this old familiar thing. Tears are like healing rain that can restore life to a parched inner landscape. Growth is always assured. Trust that there's beauty lying ahead. So in this vinyasa class that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the Thursday class is really, really difficult. In fact, I'm really kind of stiff and sore, but it's very strengthening. And at the end of class, it's like I was practically shaking with the exhaustion of all of it. And we sit and hold our arms out like this to the mirror. And he's like, just accept, embrace all of yourself. And we're going through this. And before we even got to that part, I just sat there and I just sobbed. I was just shaking with sobs. And I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I just have to cry. It's a purging. There is a big, massive purging that is intensifying. Our whole lives have been about purging this time around, but we're also purging on behalf of others. And there's one other thing I want to say here. You know, people are always saying connect with nature. Well, I was reading this book that is really about your internal process and paying attention and listening to yourself and following the energy. It's the inquiry method. And it was talking about if you're thinking about your experience, if you're processing your experience, which I'm all about, I highly recommend that. He said there's a bifurcation, there's a fracturing. You're not just being like you're in the chair trying to control it. You know, you're thinking about it. And if you just let yourself free of the chair. And he said, think about your dog. Is your dog processing how he's thinking? Which is so funny. And then I was like, my dogs are fifth density beings. I don't know about cats. I'm not going to speak to that. I think they're pretty self-serving. But dogs are a higher dimensional energy. I once remote viewed my dog. I didn't know what I was remote viewing. I just pulled out one of my little taskings. And this being was just moving forward with its heart. And there was a sense of adventure and presence and joy. And I just followed this energy around, and it was just so present to everything that was happening. And I was experiencing this higher dimensional energy. I was like, wow, this must be like, you know, someone in a higher dimension. And then I noticed it was about 3 feet off the ground. And then I said, and it was running all around my property. And then I said to it, "What's your purpose?" And this being was insulted. It was like, "I am my purpose. I am just being, if that's what you want to call it." And then I checked it out and was like, "Oh, this is Max. I've been remote viewing my dog." So that's what spending time in nature is about, is just quieting the programs that seem so important, the mysteries we're trying to figure out. And if you can just be with the tree, ask it for a message. If you can just look at the sky, well, if you can avoid the chemtrails, or if you can just be with the dog or listen to the birds and be like, this is higher dimensional energy that is surrounding me. Can I just quiet myself and connect with it? It's right there. Okay, Jeannie says, missed you. I'm in a Two of Spades day, Mars day, and it's just been a day of doing for others all day long. I'm kind of exhausted. Yeah, whatever we're doing, it feels kind of intense. Like, I have days like that when I'm just tasky, 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 and like no breaks. And then other days when it's like, oh, I can't do anything. I think I did my vinyasa class, and then I was like, okay, Thursday is a day to pretty much don't collapse, but just don't have any expectations that you're going to accomplish something. And that's something else I've noticed, is this balance that the universe is, and that's the card we got, balance, trying to get me to pace myself. And I think whatever you want to call us, star seeds, I think we have trouble with time. I think that's why a lot of us are ADD. I think we struggle with pacing ourselves and time because we had instant manifestation in other existences, and we're a little closer to remembering that in this lifetime than we have been. And I think that has to come with trust. I mean, you've just got to let go of everything, in a sense, to just be, oh, I'm just going to be with this person right in front of me. So here's one of my past life experience. I went to the Pleiades. My name was Helok, and I think I was a gray. I mean, I was an organic being. I looked like E.T., the movie E.T. He's got the spindly little legs and he's all wrinkly. And I was a totally cool person, and I would play this xylophone type thing, and I was working with frequencies, and then I would send them somewhere. And there was this gorgeous Nordic that looked like an angelic, and it was actually a very dark environment. It was very hierarchical, and I later was reading Sands of Time, Sean David Morton's book, and I knew that I was in Alcyon. And I'm reading the very next paragraph, and it said, this Nordic being was from Alcyon. And it went on to describe how they had gray slaves. Not kidding. And I'm like, but in that existence, I didn't care that they were thinking of me as a slave, because I was coming from a higher consciousness star system, and I was retaining that connection to source, and I knew who I was, and I just really didn't care. And they told me, and in fact, Yogananda told me this about 10 years ago or more, that as I was coming down through the layers of density on my way to Earth, I had to spend 1,000 cycles in this dark portion of the Pleiades in order to acquaint myself with density, retain my connection to source, but get familiar with density. But while I was there was no agenda, there was no mission, there was no urgency, and I just was bathing in this capacity to just be present in a really, really simple way. Like my dogs, just fully, fully present. And that's all. And so when I came out of that, I ended up having a couple of social connections and just felt like I didn't really have the energy for them. And both of these people, though I love them dearly, have a tendency to go on and on. And, one of them talks about like all these people and all of their stories, and it just goes on and on and on. People I'll never meet, I don't care about. And I remembered that energy of just being present. And I was like, what if I just settled into that? What if there's nothing to do here but love this friend and really enjoy the color and the texture of all these stories she's sharing with me? Isn't this interesting? And I just felt this internal shift, and there was nothing but contentment. And I was being given an opportunity to practice that. So Pretty cool. Anyway, thanks you guys. Thanks Jeannie and Ray for joining me. And I'm gonna hop on over to Instagram and then maybe TikTok, and maybe I'll see you over there. Anyway, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.